There's the moving boxes, and we are getting ready to change houses. This is never fun, especially when you have a big reloading room. So let's get into what I have ahead of me. This is the last time you are ever going to see this reloading room and all the gear lined up like this. You know, it's been a lot of years. There's been a lot of great memories here. I've done a ton of videos out of this shop. But I'm really excited. The new shop is going to be bigger. It's going to be wider. It's got a nice epoxy floor already. It's going to be really, really cool. I'll be able to have a full-time studio in there. But this is a little daunting. Obviously, I have all of my tools in here, which are going to be a lot of weight to pack up. I've got, you know, there's my sockets and torque wrench and all my sack tools. I've got Allen keys in here. Some random stuff in here. Luckily, the rest of these are fairly empty, but then, you know, we start getting into, you know, all of the different tools that I have in here, and that all just starts weighing more and more. I've got some 22 ammo there. Obviously, I've got bullets. I've got more 22 ammo, barrels. I mean, it all starts adding up, and there's no good way to pack it. And not only that, I'm probably going to move most of this myself and leave, I don't know, I'm probably going to leave very little other than probably the cabinets and the table here for the movers to take. As I start tearing this down, I'll try to kind of walk through what I'm doing as best I can, but I appreciate all the support over the years while I've been in this shop. It's honestly the hardest part about leaving this house is there's just so many memories, so many live streams, so many everything. That have been part of this shop. So I appreciate that from everybody. And hopefully, like I said, I'm going to try to throw some other videos in here before we get to the new shop. And then we'll get started setting that up. End of day one, tearing stuff down. Now you can see a lot of my tools. You can see it's looking a little more empty over here, but I've really been concentrating on pulling all the power cords. Now you'll notice there is nothing plugged in. There are no cords other than like all these USB things. And one little tip I will show you is I have put all the cords in one box, and then I've labeled every cord with some painter's tape and what it goes to. So you can see all the blue in here, and those are all labels so that I don't have any problem putting any of these back with the machine that they belong. And that's really important because there are things like your scales and your power systems that do require certain voltages or polarities that you can ruin in a heartbeat if you have the wrong power plugged into it. So this is just going to be my box of power cords. And then I have been able to clean out largely all of the boxes and fill those up. And obviously pull down all the metals, the art, whatever was on the wall. The good news is everything's empty in here. All of my drawers are empty here now. Again, these are all empty, and I'm slowly making progress emptying out that drawer. This is all empty. This is empty. So there is some light at the end of the tunnel. I, of course, removed my hopper and bullet feeder, so that is out of the way. We are getting closer. In fact, let me see if I can zoom out a little bit here. We are getting closer and closer. I'm getting close to unbolting the safe from the wall and the floor. I now have this thing completely empty. All of this is completely empty. I just have some of my tools left here. Obviously, there are still things I need my tools for, but otherwise this is largely empty. You can see there's no table here anymore. The bases for it are there, and the actual tabletop is sitting over by the garage door. I just have a giant pile of reloading stuff. I think I've shown a little bit of this, and I've had to pull some lighting. I actually put lighting back because it was honestly just too dark for me to work in. It's still overwhelming for me, I'm not going to lie. So I am in the middle of kind of figuring out space-wise what can I do to kind of offset what I was used to having here and maybe expand a little bit. So it's looking like some larger wood benches in coordination with these items here should get me where I need to go. I'm going to try to make a dedicated auto drive station that's just a little bit lower. I do like having it on this station versus that one because it's about 4 inches lower. And it does make a difference when you're trying to work on something. Plus, I'm not super tall. So if I can find something that's maybe, I don't know, like another 4 to 6 inches lower as a work table surface. I'm probably going to put that on it as a dedicated item. Nearing the final stages of getting the reloading room. Let me get some wide angle here for you. Gonna have to come unbolted, as I've said before. Not a big deal, but of course it was always interesting to see what kind of treasures were back here. It looks like we have at least a couple of burgers back there, and honestly an insane amount of powder. You can see it looks like ants down here, but that is all powder that's just fallen through. But I'm not gonna lie, this is an exhausting process. And so this is pretty much it. I'm pretty sure this will be the last video I do from this house. It is honestly a little emotional. This is where you guys have all met me. I've all met you. First reloading area was over where this fridge is. It was a tiny little Harbor Freight 4-foot, really crappy bench, but you know, that's what started it all. And ultimately I was able to come over here and give you guys, you know, about 300 or 400 videos out of this area. So it's sad, but I'm excited. New area is going to be great. I just hope it doesn't take me too long to get it set up. So with that, signing off from the old reloading area, let's check out the new area. This is the mess of my garage right now after moving in. And I'm hoping that good old Rockler Rocksteady stands are the answer. I picked up some bench tops. I have not quite the right size stretchers, but they'll work, and it would take a while to get the ones that are another foot longer. And to be honest, I just don't care right now. I already have the first set put together here. Time to put the stretchers in, and then we're gonna see what happens. But I gotta thank my buddy Chris for recommending this stuff, because I'd really been contemplating what to do for the new house and the new shop, and I really think that this stuff's gonna do the trick. We got a little bit more in place. Honestly, I feel really bad, and like my body's just shutting down, but it's been a rough week. But I'm trying to get what I can unpacked. I think I'm about done for the day. Once again, my buddy Chris came to the rescue. I was originally looking at that kind of racking. You know, it's this this plastic put together stuff, and I've had decent luck. I put, you know, like plywood over the top, but I'm dealing with a lot more weight than I used to. And he had actually suggested this pallet racking that is at Costco. That is, you know, actual like pallet racking. It's much heavier duty than this. But for my needs, I instantly thought, well, you know what? I used to use this stuff in another business, and I really like it. Each shelf holds 800 pounds. It's pretty crazy what it'll support, although I think there's a limit to how many of the shelves you can put 800 pounds on. But anyway, or maybe the whole thing holds 800 pounds. Well, whatever it is, this is more than enough. This is only a couple hundred pounds in bullets right there. The rest is going to be some brass and then some 22 ammo. And these are mostly empty boxes for storage. But the nice thing is it's on wheels and I can move it around if I need to. I don't remember if we had this together last time, but I now have this thing fully put back together along with my barrel rack attached to it. I'm just waiting to find the bolts that were supporting that shelf that went right here for my cleaning gear and whatnot. Otherwise, that's not really a shelf, it's just there, but I did get a shelf in that so I can start putting some gear underneath that. So there's where we're at. Looks like we got a friendly neighborhood spider on the wall right there. Whoop, there he is. He just wants to help. So you might remember there were some racks here, and now we have it all right here, because it just made more sense to sort of box this area in, and then I'm moving my studio to another part of the garage. Thank goodness we had wheels on that. I still have a bit of a mess, obviously, and I'd really like to load in the next couple days. I'm starting to lose energy and hope at this point, but we're gonna keep trucking through. I believe we are going to say this video is done. I feel like it's been a pretty good journey. I made a lot of different changes to this. It's probably the third or fourth different thing you've seen with this setup, but this is the final one. I brought over an actual toolbox, and that's gonna be nice over here. And then of course I have all of my equipment. And the reason I say we're pretty much done is, look, I have power and I'm running my auto drive. I was currently decapping and thought I would wrap this up. I've got my AMP Mark II DB ready to anneal the brass that's being decapped. And then over here, just a couple, it looks messy, but really it's just a few things to clean up because I've got my auto dod down here. That's gonna get put permanently up. It's gonna have its own spot. I've got my Summit press, I've got my AMP press, and I've got my Henderson. And with that, all I can say is if you are moving or if you are considering moving, you are probably going to be in a similar mental state like I was, which is this is overwhelming. This is just too much to deal with. And that's really where I was until I just jumped in and started packing stuff up. And of course, once I got here, I just had to start unpacking. With that, I hope something in this video helped, whether you're looking to reorganize, whether you're looking to upgrade, or whether you are just like me and are in the middle of considering a move or packing for a move. I am just super psyched to get back out and get behind the gun and start making videos again. And I appreciate everybody's patience for the last month while I've had really essentially no videos coming out, which has been really, really tough on me mentally. This is my job. I feel like I have been totally slacking at it. Like I said, get out and shoot. Have some fun. We will talk later. Have a good one.